That morning in the junior secondary school classroom, Cindy and a few other girls were sitting close to the window, chatting and laughing. As they were talking, Benita suddenly pointed toward the school gate and shouted, "Oh, look! It's Emerald. She's here." Immediately, all the girls turned to look. And yes, it was her. Emerald, the most popular girl in their class. She was walking in her usual elegant way, carrying her small designer school bag and a lunch bag of snacks. Some of the girls quickly ran to meet her, taking her bag from her hands while she smiled and greeted them like a queen that had just arrived. When Emerald finally sat down, she unzipped her lunch bag. Inside were plenty of colorful biscuits, sweets, cakes, drinks, and chocolates. She began to share them happily with her friends. Cindy's eyes lit up as soon as she saw the snacks. "Emerald, please, can I have some more?" Cindy begged eagerly. Emerald smiled and gave her extra snacks. Cindy smiled happily, already stuffing them into her mouth. Soon, crumbs stained her lips and fingers, but she didn't care. She just wanted more. Emerald was well known in the whole school. She was rich, beautiful, and very generous. Every day she brought plenty of snacks and shared them with everyone. Break time was never complete without Emerald's bag of goodies. Strangely, no matter how much anybody had eaten at home, there was always space in their stomachs for Emerald snacks. And no matter how much of it they ate, they never felt full. They just wanted more and more of it. Emerald also loved hosting parties and sleepovers. Her house was always filled with music, games, food and laughter whenever she invited her classmates. But sometimes, after her parties, some girls would return to school the next day looking unusually tired. Some even complained of strange dreams they couldn't explain. But nobody really cared because the parties were always fun. Emerald was also very thoughtful. She never forgot her teachers' birthdays or school events. She would always bring them expensive gifts that made them smile. Everyone loved her. To them, Emerald was the perfect girl, kind, cheerful, and impossible not to like. One morning, while the class was settling in, Emerald stood up with her usual bright smile. "Girls," she said, "my sister's birthday is tomorrow, and you are all invited. My parents are even sending a bus to pick us from school by 5 p.m. and bring us back by 7 p.m. The class erupted in excitement. Everyone started clapping and cheering. Some girls whispered about the fancy dresses they would wear. Cindy was already bouncing in her seat, imagining the cakes, sweets, and enjoyment. The following day, as soon as school ended, the students rushed home to change into their party dresses. They returned to school full of laughter and chatter, buzzing with anticipation. Soon, the bus arrived, and they all piled in, giggling as they imagined the fun ahead. When they arrived, Emerald's house looked like a palace. The air smelled faintly of sweet incense, though no one paid it much mind. The living room was decorated beautifully, balloons, decorations everywhere, colorful lights, and tables filled with food, drinks, cake and snacks. Music blasted from the speakers as the children screamed in excitement. Emerald's mother moved around gracefully with a calm smile, offering snacks and drinks to the children. "Eat, children, eat. Take as much as you want." And the children did. They ate greedily, laughed louder, and played harder. It was as if the food made them more excited. Among all Emerald's friends, Cindy was the one who always ate the most. She loved food more than anything. Her chubby frame bounced as she laughed and grabbed more snacks. While others stopped when they were full, Cindy never got tired. She just kept eating, and Emerald always made sure to give her extra. A week later, a new student joined their class. Her name was Esther. She came from a Christian family. Her father was a businessman, and her mother was an evangelist. Esther was calm and polite, and when the teacher introduced her, she quietly went to sit beside Cindy. Of course, Emerald noticed her immediately. With her usual smile, she walked over and stretched out a beautifully wrapped snack. "Welcome, Esther. Here, have this." But Esther shook her head politely. "No, thank you." Before Emerald could insist, Cindy leaned forward. "Give it to me then. I'll eat it." Emerald laughed and handed it to Cindy, who quickly unwrapped it and stuffed it into her mouth. Esther frowned at her, already irritated by the carefree way her classmates behaved. Emerald was persistent. Day after day, she tried to befriend Esther, offering her the most delicious snacks, little treats, and even invites to sleepovers and her extravagant parties. But Esther always refused, politely yet firmly. "Thank you, Emerald, but I'm here to focus on my studies, not to party or get distracted with unnecessary fun," she would say. Despite the repeated rejections, Emerald refused to give up. She admired Esther's discipline and quietly resolved to find a way to earn her friendship, believing that eventually, even the most cautious girl would accept her kindness. But as days passed, Esther noticed something strange. Most of her classmates were always tired in class. Most of them seemed dull and distracted in class, especially Cindy, who could hardly keep her eyes open during lessons. Some even slept right on their desks while the teacher was teaching. Others forgot things easily. But one thing was common: they were always waiting for Emerald to unzip her lunch bag. Only about 3 students in the class remained sharp and serious. Strangely, Emerald herself was always among the top. No matter how much she partied, her results were excellent. In fact, she only seemed to get better. Esther didn't like her. Sometimes when Emerald came close, Esther felt a heavy presence in her chest, as if something evil was nearby. She couldn't explain it, but she knew something wasn't right. In the days that followed, she grew closer to one of the sharp students in her class, a quiet, kind girl named Goodness. Unlike the others, Goodness hardly touched Emerald's snacks, and her mind remained clear and strong. The two of them quickly bonded over their love for books and their shared suspicion of how strangely their classmates were behaving. Whenever others ran after Emerald's colorful treats, Esther and Goodness exchanged knowing glances and returned to their notebooks. But as the weeks went by, Esther's uneasiness grew stronger. One evening, Esther told her mother everything. "Mommy," she said, "something is wrong. Most of my classmates are always dull and tired. Cindy can't even keep her eyes open in class. But Emerald keeps shining brighter and smarter. And whenever she comes close to me, I feel something heavy, like darkness pressing me down." Her mother listened quietly, then said, "You have done well to speak. Listen to me, Esther. From now on, pray before you eat anything in school. If you don't feel peace in your spirit, don't take it. Stay close to God. Light always exposes darkness." Esther nodded. When the midterm results came out, something unusual happened. Esther came first. Emerald was second. Goodness followed, then the other bright students. The rest of the class performed poorly. For the first time, Emerald was not number 1. She forced a smile, but tears soon ran down her face when the teacher praised Esther for doing well in front of the whole class. Their teacher, who was very fond of her, quickly rushed to comfort her. "Don't cry, my dear. You did well. Next time, you will do better." The next day, Emerald came to school looking bright again. She clapped her hands. "Good news, everyone. My father is coming back after 3 months away on a business trip. We are throwing a big welcome party for him, and you're all invited." The class cheered loudly. Everyone loved Emerald parties. Everyone, except Esther. She muttered under her breath, "Why must everything about her always turn into a party?" Goodness whispered, "That's how they are. They celebrate everything. Even their dog's birthday." Esther shook her head. She made up her mind that she won't go. But Emerald, as if reading her thoughts, came to her desk with 2 glossy invitation cards. "Esther, goodness, please. Your coming means so much to me. I wish to see you both there." Goodness accepted the card politely. Esther frowned but still collected hers. "I'm not sure I'll come," she said. "Please try to," Emerald said before walking back to her desk. Later that day, their class teacher came to the class to remind them about the party. "Hello girls, remember, Emerald's father is one of our biggest patrons. You must all attend his welcome party to show him our love and support. No excuses please, let's all try to be there." Esther sighed. She knew she had no choice now but to go since their teacher had come personally to talk to them about it. Missing it may bring a lot of attention and trouble. When the day of the party arrived, the school bus dropped the students at Emerald's house. There were decorations everywhere, lots of food and drinks, some other invited people and loud music. Emerald's father gave a short welcome speech, smiling proudly. Everyone clapped and cheered and the party continued with full blast. As the party went on, Esther and Goodness sat quietly at one corner of the hall. Emerald's mother, who was walking around, handing food and drinks to people, noticed them and came to meet them. "Hey girls, why are you two sitting alone idly? Why aren't you having fun like the others?" "We are fine, Ma," Esther replied politely. The woman smiled and looked at Esther. "You must be Esther." Esther was a bit startled. "Yes, Ma, my name is Esther. I have heard a lot about you from my daughter, Emerald. I told her to try and be your friend because you are brilliant and well-behaved. Imagine you two moving together and studying together, wouldn't that be awesome?" Esther only gave a small smile. "Why don't you girls follow me to somewhere quieter so we can talk better?" Esther and Goodness hesitated. The woman saw it and told them not to worry much, that Emerald would even be joining them shortly. They stood up and followed her. She led them to a side room near the main hall, offered them seats and went and brought them light refreshments, juice and cupcakes. Esther and Goodness refused to take them. "We are okay, Ma, thank you," Esther said. The woman smiled. "You see why I always keep on talking about you to my daughter. You are very disciplined and content. But please, this is a party. You can't just come to a party and leave without tasting anything. But I like your style anyways, keep it up." But they still refused to take the snacks. Just then, Emerald entered, happily eating a cupcake. She joined in persuading them to eat. But Esther excused herself, saying she wanted to use the bathroom just to get away from eating the cake. Emerald offered to show her the way to the bathroom. She tried having a short conversation with her as they went, but Esther only nodded to everything she said. When they got to the bathroom, she went inside. After using the bathroom, Esther came out but couldn't find Emerald anywhere again. How was she supposed to find her way back in this big house? Esther wandered up and down, passing different turns and hallways. Each of the passages seemed to get colder and creepier as she went. She opened different doors trying to see if she could find someone that would take her back to the main hall. But she didn't find a single person. She continued walking until she saw one big door that was slightly open. Curious, she peeked inside. Inside, the big room was filled with snacks. Different types of colorful biscuits, sweet, cupcakes, chips, chewing gums, canned drinks, lollipops and so on. They filled the shelves, baskets and all the storage boxes and was even heaped on the floor. So, this is where Emerald gets her never-ending snacks from, Esther thought to herself. But why will Emerald's family have a giant room filled to the brim with snacks when they don't sell them? Does it mean all these are just for sharing and throwing parties? She asked herself. She decided to go back and tell Goodness about the new discovery she made. Something was indeed wrong with Emerald's snacks. Esther walked for some time before she stumbled upon a big door. She opened the door and found herself outside the building. As she was still making out what part of the building she was, a maid saw her and asked her what she was doing there and how she managed to get there. She explained to the maid that she got lost while trying to find her way back to the main hall. The maid looked at her before shrugging and taking her back to the hall. The hall was livelier than where she just came out from. She saw Emerald, who started taking her back to where Goodness was. She questioned Emerald why she left her at the bathroom. Emerald apologized. She said she thought Esther knew her way back. When they got there, Esther found Goodness leaning on the table sleeping. Esther was surprised. "Oh Esther, you're back," Emerald's mom said. "Yes ma," Esther replied. "I was talking to your friend here but she got sleepy and slept off," Emerald's mom said. Esther was surprised. It looked odd. Why would Goodness sleep all of a sudden? She tried waking her up but Goodness wasn't responding. She wondered what was going on. Just then, Esther noticed the empty glass of juice beside Goodness. A full glass was still on the tray which was supposed to be hers. Could it be that Goodness had taken the juice? Esther didn't want to believe it. She shook her violently for her to wake up. But Esther only stirred and a strange liquid spilled from her mouth. Esther was alarmed. She asked Emerald what she did to Goodness. But she said she didn't do anything to her. "Goodness, wake up," Esther cried. But Goodness didn't respond. She ran out and went to call her teacher and some other adults who were present. They all rushed to help. But Goodness didn't wake up. Emerald's mother acted surprised. "Oh dear, maybe she ate too many snacks." But Esther shouted, "That's not true. She didn't eat anything." They then rushed Goodness to the hospital. When Esther got home that day, she told her mother everything that happened in the party. Her mother was very surprised. "But why would Goodness drink that juice?" Esther's mother asked. "I don't know. But I don't think Goodness drank the juice." "But why was the glass empty then?" Esther said. "We have to pray seriously for Goodness and ask God to reveal what happened to her to us," Esther's mother said. Esther agreed. That night after the prayers, Esther had a dream. She saw herself in her school and her classmates eating snacks. Their eyes were black and they chewed loudly as they giggled. She then saw Emerald's mother holding a bowl of snacks. She came closer handing her some glowing biscuits. "Don't you want some?" Esther refused and moved back. But Emerald's mom kept coming closer and closer, forcing her to take the biscuits. But Esther kept on refusing. Emerald's mom then stopped. Her eyes glowed purple and then she laughed. As she laughed, her features changed and she looked scarier. Then she started chasing her. Esther screamed and woke up trembling. She ran to her mother's room and soon, another round of prayers started. Back in school, Emerald acted as if nothing had happened. Esther tried to warn her classmates to stop eating Emerald snacks. "Please, don't take snacks from Emerald anymore. Can't you see something is wrong?" But they only laughed. "Esther, those snacks are very tasty and sweet. I can't stop eating them, especially the chocolates." Others looked troubled but still gave in when Emerald passed them brightly wrapped sweets. It was as though the food itself pulled them in. At the hospital, Goodness grew weaker. For 3 days she lay unconscious, murmuring and wrestling occasionally in her sleep. Esther and her mom visited her each day and prayed seriously for her recovery. On the 4th day, Goodness finally woke up. When Esther and her mom visited her that day, they were very happy and praised God. Goodness then explained what she could remember from that day. "After you left with Emerald that day, her mom started talking to me and asking me some questions about school and other things. Then all of a sudden, she called me by my name. I looked at her and then I noticed her eyes were now purple and they were glowing. I continued staring at her eyes as if something was pulling me to it. She then gave me the glass of juice and asked me to drink it. I don't know why, but I couldn't say no, so I drank the juice. And that was all I could remember," Goodness said. Blood of Jesus. Esther's mother said. That same purple eyes. We really need to pray because we don't know what was in that juice she gave you. Esther agreed. After spending some time with her, they started the prayers. As they prayed, Goodness convulsed and vomited a strange dark liquid. After the prayers, she felt stronger. Goodness returned to school the following week. Some students hugged her, others avoided her as if she had brought trouble with her, but Esther stayed close to her. Towards the end of the session, the school was buzzing with talk of the graduation and prize-giving day. It was the biggest event of the year, and everyone, students, parents, and teachers, looked forward to it. The school management began making arrangements for the event center, decorations, chairs, tables, sound systems, and other necessities. Among the patrons of the school, Emerald's parents volunteered to sponsor all the food, drinks, and snacks that would be needed that day. Other patrons contributed money for the hall and prizes. When Emerald announced to her classmates that her family would handle the catering, the children cheered excitedly. There'll be plenty of cake, meat pies, biscuits, ice cream, everything you can think of. Emerald boasted. But Esther didn't smile. She felt something was amiss. When she got home, she told her mother about the development. Her mother listened carefully and said, "We must not take this lightly. If indeed they plan evil, their plans will scatter." For the next few nights, Esther and her mother prayed together with intensity. They prayed for God to expose every hidden work of darkness and to protect every child in the school for the upcoming graduation. 2 days to the graduation, the preparations were almost complete. The children rehearsed their presentations, the teachers worked tirelessly, and parents were buying new clothes for the big day. To everyone else, excitement was in the air. But to Esther and her mother, it felt like the silence before a storm. The long-awaited day finally arrived. Parents filled the decorated event hall, the students looked sharp in their beautiful dresses, and the teachers sat proudly at the front. The ceremony began with prayers, songs, and speeches. Prizes were awarded to the best students in each subject. Esther, to no surprise, walked up to receive the Best in Academics award, followed by a loud cheer. Emerald also received an award for outstanding contribution to school activities. When it was time for refreshments, the tables outside were filled with food, cakes, biscuits, sweets, meat pies, drinks, and snacks, all lavishly provided by Emerald's family. The school publicly acknowledged and thanked the patrons for their contributions, especially Emerald's parents for their generosity, and everyone clapped in appreciation. The children rushed toward the tables with excitement, eating and munching happily. Everything seemed normal, until one boy suddenly clutched his stomach and screamed in pain before collapsing to the floor. Everyone gasped as he vomited a strange liquid. Moments later, another child fell, and then another. Within minutes, chaos broke out as several children lay groaning, vomiting, and some already unconscious. Parents screamed in panic, rushing to their children. Teachers tried desperately to help, but even some of them staggered and collapsed. During the chaos, Esther and her mother bowed their heads, praying for God to take control. Then Esther stood up and walked to the front. "I know who is behind this," she said. "I suspect Emerald and her mother." The hall went silent. Parents turned sharply toward where Emerald and her mother were standing. Both of them looked a bit confused, as if they weren't expecting such things to happen. "How dare you accuse me and my daughter of such nonsense?" Emerald's mother said sharply. Before she could continue, Esther's mother stepped forward with authority. "Madam, confess your evil deeds now, or you will not like how this ends." Emerald's mother's eyes darkened. "What do you mean by that? Why will you falsely accuse me of something like that?" Before Esther's mom could reply, Emerald suddenly screamed. She bent over, clutching her stomach, and started vomiting the same dark liquid as the others. Gasps filled the hall. Emerald turned to look at her mom with a look of horror and betrayal. What did you give me, Mom? You promised I would never eat what you gave the others. You said I'd be safe. The crowd erupted. Parents started stepping forward. Emerald's mother froze in horror, her voice cracking. Oh my God! Did you eat anything else apart from what I gave you? But before Emerald could reply, she fell unconscious. Parents crowded around Emerald's mother, eyes blazing. So it's true, one father thundered. You poisoned our children. No, no, no. It's not what you think, she cried, trembling. A furious woman slapped her hard across the face. Wicked woman. Confess now or we'll deal with you ourselves. Her knees buckled, tears spilling. I didn't mean to do this. It was the cult, not me. I only wanted wealth, influence, and respect. The snacks, they were meant to draw out the children's stars slowly, not to harm them. The crowd shouted in disgust. You stole our children's futures. You call this not harm? You're such a wicked mother. A father stepped forward, pointing a finger at her. How long has this been happening? Emerald's mother hesitated. For more than 2 years now, every party, every school celebration or event. It made them lose interest in reading, grow weaker and distracted in school. It was the snacks from the cult. It drained them little by little. The hall shook with cries of horror. A parent lamented with tears in her eyes. My son has been failing his exams, was it also you? She nodded her head in shame. Yes, most of it was me. And the teachers? Were they blind? Didn't they notice all this? A parent asked. At that, the principal turned sharply to the staff. Answer them. Did you know? We took gifts and money. We didn't know it was because of this. A teacher answered in shame. Another teacher lowered his head. We thought they were just ordinary gifts. Ordinary gifts, a parent roared. Our children are lying unconscious, and you call that ordinary? The principal shook his head sadly. Emerald's mother burst into tears as she clutched her daughter. I only wanted to belong. They promised me fame and riches. I thought if I sacrificed other children, my children would be spared. But now, it backfired. Soon the sound of sirens echoed outside and silenced them for a moment. Ambulance workers rushed in, carrying stretchers. They shouted as they lifted the unconscious children carefully. Meanwhile, some policemen stormed into the hall. Where is the woman responsible? Parents pointed at her furiously. She's the one. Arrest her now before she kills another child. The policeman grabbed her by the arms. She struggled, screaming. Please. Don't take me. I didn't want to harm them. The cult did. I only wanted riches and power. This was not supposed to happen. Save your confession for the station. One officer sneered. They dragged her out, ignoring her cries. As the ambulances pulled away, the principal stood outside lost in thought. Lord have mercy, what have we allowed in this school? Later that week, most of the children recovered, even though they were weak and shaken. Others, like Cindy, remained in coma for weeks. Parents stayed by their bedsides, praying day and night for them to recover. And they later did miraculously. But Emerald never woke up. Despite everything the doctors did. When her mother heard the news in custody, she broke down, screaming. No. Not my child. I gave up everything so she would be spared. Now what I feared the most has happened. Oh my God, what have I done? Her cries echoed down the police corridors, but no one pitied her. Parents, be watchful. Not every gift, party, or snack is innocent. Protect your children, pray for them, and teach them to be discerning, because the enemy often hides in sweet disguises. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Your support helps us keep bringing you powerful stories.